Yeah, it's interesting. I had mixed feelings about that too. Like, I was wondering how intentional that was, or whether it was just sort of the muddiness of Ivy's character in general, because I know I was sort of talking about that in one of our previous episodes, that one of my complaints about her is just that her sexual subtext isn't kind of clear enough. Like she's mobilizing a lot of different tropes, but they sort of contradict each other. And I just wish it was like a little bit more thought out because she's not sort of communicating an overall message that makes sense. And like her relationships with Batman and Robin are kind of part of that to me because she clearly just wants to manipulate them and gain control over them through sexuality, but she doesn't even seem focused on that really. It's just a means to an end, but definitely doesn't seem like an obsession with her or anything. Like she's got the token obsession with Freeze because he doesn't respond to her pheromones, but even that's not particularly played up in the movie. It's just almost like mentioned and then doesn't really go anywhere.
Well, I think with the relationship with Freeze is intriguing in that, yeah, it's almost they try to give her obsession with Batman over to Freeze, where she's like, "Yep, this is the guy for me." But at the same time, it does feel like a lot of her being enamored with him is like, I can use him. And when she's just like, I want, you almost get the vibe of like when he freezes the world or whatever, she'll be like, oh, I don't need you anymore. And then
Yeah.
she'll just let him go off and die or
Well,
something.
because
Like
freezing the world would surely hurt the plants.
Well, I think her whole plan is to freeze everything and then everything will regrow naturally after the freeze
to do that,
thaws
she would have
and-
to get rid of
Yeah.
Freeze. Yeah.
This plan makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Yeah, I guess Mr. Freeze can go off and live in the Antarctic or something, but like it does get. I kind of also like the idea that she is just a master manipulator, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally only into Freeze because he is someone I can use."
I would prefer that angle. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
she's
but-
using, like she does with every other character, using her sexuality as a weapon.
But then they get into the way she's actually portrayed in the movie is almost the nefarious bunny boiler trope of like, I want this guy. Oh, he's married. I'm gonna go kill his wife.
Yeah, she
and
wants
then
him
he'll
because
be
she
mine.
can't have him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's not a good look. I don't think it would. Her being, but then her being a massive manipulator, it would be better than that. But then it's also like, it's just a nefarious, manipulative woman as well. So, I don't know which would be the better angle to play Ivy in this movie.
I mean,
really.
I feel like the way to fix her would be to make her motivations a little bit more sympathetic, like again, very similar to kind of Batman or Catwoman rather in Batman Returns. Because Ivy has like a grain of sympathy when you're like, oh, she's like complaining about, environmentalism and stuff, and
Well, yeah,
Bruce
I'm
is this
behind
capitalistic
that.
figure, and yeah, that's great. But then
Yeah.
she immediately just goes, also, I'm going to kill everybody, and you're like, oh right. So
Yeah, it
then
kinda feels like
she
if that kind of
loses that.
developed throughout the movie, that would be a bit more interesting. Like, okay, she wants to do good, and then slowly it is revealed that her approach is to kill most of humanity. It's like, oh, okay, she's gone over the edge now.
It's weird as well though, because they almost did set it up originally. And when she first decides to go to Gotham, it's when she's smashing everything, and she gets the beaker, and she's like, "Oh, Wayne Enterprises."
Yeah.
It feels that I'm going to go after Bruce Wayne personally. And she does that one scene, and then that's just kind of dropped. It becomes like, I'm just going to kill everybody, and it's the plan becomes global. Whereas like, it could be an interesting angle to have it be like, what if Bruce Wayne is her Max Schreck? And he's just like, I'm the bad guy. What did I do? And stuff. Maybe Bruce Wayne has to become accountable for some, business practices or something like that, where he's like, I thought I was the good guy, but turns out I'm no better than friggin' Max Schreck over here.
Well,
And,
yeah, like I mean, Ivy's identity as like an eco terrorist is really not part of this portrayal in like a meaningful way. Because I mean, that's what would be interesting, right? Like, I mean, she's opposing his like patriarchal capitalism with something else, right? And that just kind of gets lost by slotting her into that femme fatale seductress role. I mean, the one grain of it that again I could potentially like, but I don't think it's played out, is that she perhaps actually isn't interested in men at all, and they really are just a means to an end, and all of this is performative. And I think that's something you could certainly read into it. I don't think the movie kind of like goes there with it. I don't think it's kind of that smart about the portrayal, but it's certainly something you could put on the movie.
Yeah, I'm in the middle there because I agree with you. It's not really in the film, but that's kind of the way I read it. Everything she's doing is kind of phony. It's because, this is what men like, so I will use that to get what I want.
I think that would have been if it went back into the what I originally wanted for Ivy, where she actually, her presentation in the movie is all a facade, literally, through the pheromones. So
Yeah.
if the pheromones to wear off, you would see her as like this hideous plant beast,
Like rotting. Kind of.
yeah. And it's just like and then when she blows again, it's like, oh no, she appears as your eyes desire. So maybe every person sees her differently and things like
That'd
this.
be cool, yeah.
That'd be an interesting idea to do with it, but I don't feel that also could be potentially taken down like problematic routes as well. So
Well,
I don't know.
This whole character can potentially be problematic. It depends how you want to look at it. Because, as you say, like some people find her empowering, some people say the opposite. So how do you reconcile that?
Yeah.